Actually, some aren't so fun. Ever since 9/11, a bunch of theorists, otherwise known as people with active imaginations, no common sense, and a lot of time on their hands, have insisted that explosives inside the World Trade Center brought the towers down, that all the victims in the first plane really didn't die because there were no passengers, and that no plane ever hit the Pentagon.
Flight 77, 125 feet wide and 44 feet tall, allegedly crashed into the Pentagon on September 11th.
Allegedly? I think yesterday, by releasing this video, the government seems to have taken care of that one in about 10 seconds flat. Or did it? There's a documentary you can't get off of you can get off of a website, but for some reason, they're not letting you buy it at Blockbuster, and now available is a director's cut that insists all of it is a hoax. Dave Von Kleist, you produced it. Tell me, sir, how is this not a plane? Right there. Can we freeze that and show that box? How's that not a plane? That's a big white object of some sort. That's right. It's either a plane or a naked Michael Moore headed for the buffet.
It's something, there's no doubt about it. But right. the question is definitively, is that Flight 77? And according to the military experts that have seen our video, 9/11 in plain sight, it is absolutely not. And that's according to a two-star general, General Albert Stubblebine, with 30 years experience in charge of photo analysis at the Pentagon, and also Colonel George Nelson, United States Air Force, with 30 years experience identifying aircraft and aircraft parts.
So if it's not a plane, what is it exactly?
I don't know. I didn't say it was a 757 that hit the Pentagon. That was, of course, the mainstream media, the networks, etc., etc. The question is, if that is Flight 77, a Boeing 757, how do we explain the photographs and the video footage that to this point has not really been addressed in an open and honest forum in the mainstream media?
What needs to be addressed? There is the plane. Well, let me ask you this.
There is something.
Where are the passengers?
It's really interesting that you couch this entire interview by saying conspiracy theorists, but at no time am I theorizing anything. I'm basing my questions.
I got to tell you,
I'm basing my questions on evidence and photographic evidence and video evidence.
Okay,
and they're simply asking questions.
Hang on just a second. That's part of the problem. You don't have a theory. You're saying it could be a plane. It could be a big white elephant. It looks like a plane. That's the most common sense kind of idea that it is a plane. Give me an idea of what it would be if it's not a plane.
Well, like I said, if I was to try to tell you what I thought it was, then I would be dabbling in conspiracy theory, and that's not what we're about. The point is that the military experts that we've spoken to say that the damage that you see at the Pentagon before the collapse, and we have one of the photographs here. They show that in that brief clip.
Okay.
And here's the photograph, one of the many photographs taken before the collapse of the E-ring. Now, this photograph, for the most part, has been ignored by the mainstream media. It clearly shows the roof line is still intact. It shows that the place had not collapsed yet. It also shows the lawn is untouched, and most importantly, you show me where there is a hole big enough for 757, and is there any wreckage?
Real quick question: have you talked to any military personnel? General Parton, for one, that will tell you that it was a plane?
That's very curious you would bring up General Parton, because in his interview with the John Birch Society magazine, The New American, he stated that the entire plane vaporized. And yet Jamie McIntyre on CNN yesterday stated that he had photographed pieces of the cockpit and the fuselage. And Jamie McIntyre also stated on September 11th that upon his close inspection, there were no pieces of recognizable wreckage from any type of a large aircraft. He stated that there was no fuselage, there were no wings, no engines, nothing that you could recognize as a large aircraft. There were a lot of small metal pieces.
There were some people that were protesting outside of the Time Warner Center a couple of weeks ago about the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, and they claim that America, the government, has hired Osama bin Laden, and they know this. They've hired an actor to play Osama bin Laden because he has two noses. My question to you, Dave, how much are we paying that actor?
I wouldn't know anything about
Wouldn't know anything. Let me ask you this.
Let
me ask you this. What's in Area 51? Is it aliens or office supplies?
Well, actually, I hear there's a whole host of Elvis impersonators there.
There we go.
That fly around in black helicopters.
Great.
You can bring that up, too.
Dave?
See, what you're doing here is the same thing that so many talk show hosts do. You ignore the message by attacking the messenger and trying to
No, I'm not attacking you, Dave. You seem like you seem like a reasonable human being. I just do not believe this at all. I got to tell you, I have friends, a guy who works for me, in fact, that has a friend that witnessed the plane, saw it with his own eyes. I think you are a nut job, but strangely enough, a serious nut job. Dave, I thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You
Check
bet.
it out at 9/11.